I'm really addressing the question to both speakers. I was surprised that neither of you really raised the issue that is most important to me in this, and that is the separation of church and state. My strong feelings about the election are because I fear that if Mr. Bush is reelected, that the wall between church and state will in fact go down. And I'd like to hear comments from both of you on that subject.
I didn't mention it, but it's not because it's not important to me. I do not believe that it should ever be mixed, that it should ever one thing affecting the other. As a matter of fact, in some speeches, I've made reference to those people who run all over the country with the Bible in one hand, talking about God and love and things religious, and in the other, they talk about the destruction of the human spirit. And I am absolutely in support of that separation and will do anything and everything to create that separation.
Reminds me, there's a poem, Patty O'Shea went to church every Sunday, but when he died, he went to hell for what he did on Monday. One of the things I like to ask folks, let me do a clarification, by the way. I was accused of saying something that wasn't the truth when I made the comment about Kerry extending the war. That wasn't my quote. That was the North Vietnamese who made that quote. And they made that quote time and time and time again. That's them saying it. That wasn't me saying it. So I didn't give them proper credit. It was the communist North Vietnamese that said he helped to extend it. Your question regarding the separation of church and state. One question I like to ask is, where does that phrase come from? Do you know? Who asked the question? You did?
Constitution. I didn't know. Jefferson.
Where does it come from? Do you know? Who said the Constitution? See, a lot of people think it's the Constitution. That is not in the Constitution. It is nowhere in the Constitution. That comes from a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Danbury Baptist Church in reaction to a question.
Address it to me.
I thought I did. I'm sorry, sir.
Address it to me. The phrase may not be in the Constitution, but the words of the Constitution clearly imply separation of church and state.
Well, that only came by a decision of the Supreme Court after 150 years of asking them. But nonetheless, you asked the question about it. I believe there should be a separation of church and state. I just like it to be made clear as to where it really came from, because there's a lot of folks out there that'll say it's from the Constitution. It's not in the Constitution. It should be kept separate, and I believe that George Bush wants to keep it separate. And he has done, in my mind, very little to change what the true meaning of the separation of church and state is. The problem is that meaning has been morphed over the years. It's been morphed into something more than it actually was, even when the Supreme Court accepted the verbiage as something we should stand for in this country.